Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining me tonight. Tonight, I would like to talk about a woman who plunged Japan into the depths of terror during the Showa era. She wears a red coat, has long flowing hair, and covers her face with a large white mask. If you saw her standing at a street corner, what would you do? What if she turned to you and asked in a quiet voice, "Am I pretty?" Today, wearing masks has become a common sight. But there was a time when it was believed that an unimaginable horror was hidden beneath that white fabric. It was 1979, the 54th year of the Showa era. The rumor, which reportedly began in a certain town in Gifu Prefecture, spread across all of Japan in the blink of an eye, robbing children of their peaceful daily lives. Tonight, let us carefully unravel why this existence known as Kuchisaka-onna, the slit-mouthed woman, terrified people so deeply, and explore the social anxieties and deep-seated psychology that lay behind the phenomenon. First, let us look back at the feverish commotion of that time. In early 1979, the rumor that began in Gifu did not spread through traditional media like television or newspapers, but through the word of mouth of children, or what we would call a viral explosion today. At dusk, on the way home from school, a tall woman wearing a mask would appear. As she passed by, she would ask, "Am I pretty?" If the person answered that she was pretty, she would slowly remove her mask. Her mouth was torn wide open all the way to her ears. Then she would laugh and ask, "Even now?" while attempting to take the person away from this world with a pair of sharp scissors. Or she might slit the person's mouth to look just like hers. If the person answered that she was not pretty, they would be immediately sent to their end right then and there. It was a terrifying choice with no escape. As this story spread, elementary schools across Japan fell into a state of panic. It reached a point where the police increased. Their patrols and teachers had to lead groups of students home for safety. Do you remember any forbidden games or scary rumors that everyone believed? When you were a child, the rumor of the slit-mouthed woman was more than just a prank. It carried the weight of a significant social phenomenon. Here is my first question for you. If a stranger spoke to you on a dark road at night, would you be able to run away without hesitation? Or would you find yourself answering them politely? What made this commotion even more complex was the spread of specific methods to escape her, or what we might call gonglu strategies, chanting the word pomade 3 times, or giving her amber sugar candy. These may seem silly from a modern perspective, but for the children of that time, they were the only source of hope. Why pomade? The reasons given were quite detailed, such as the idea that the surgeon who operated on her smelled of pomade, or that she simply hated the scent. The fascinating thing about urban legends is how the details are constantly layered and added upon. What started as a local story in Gifu had evolved by the time it reached Tokyo, even gaining supernatural physical abilities, such as being able to run 100 meters in just a few seconds. This setting of extreme speed seems to symbolize the sense of despair children felt, believing that they could never outrun her if they were chased. Next, I want to focus on why a monster like the slit-mouthed woman was born during this specific period. In the late 1970s, Japan's high economic growth had stabilized, and while society was maturing, new anxieties were beginning to sprout. One of those was the interest in and fear of cosmetic surgery. At the time, surgeries to obtain beauty were becoming more common, but at the same time, people harbored a latent fear of what might happen if the procedure failed. One of the most famous theories regarding her identity is that of a woman who lost her mind after a failed cosmetic surgery. This can be seen as an expression of modern fear that the unknown powers of science and medicine might transform one's appearance into something monstrous. Furthermore, this was a time when the competition for school entrance exams intensified, and children had more frequent occasions to walk the streets at night, to attend cram schools, less time with family, and the fear of walking alone in the dark. The appearance of a distorted woman before these. Lonely children may have been a symbol of the cracks appearing in modern society. Here's my second question for you. In today's society, do you feel a different kind of fear regarding masks compared to the past? Is the anxiety of not being able to see someone's face something that remains constant across different eras? The story of the slit-mouthed woman did not stop within the borders of Japan. Entering the 2000s, this legend crossed the ocean to South Korea, China, and Southeast Asia, In South Korea, she became known as the Red Mask and became a huge hit among children, just as she had in Japan. Interestingly, the story changed slightly in each country to fit the local culture. For example, modern situations were added, such as trying to escape in a taxi, only to find the driver was one of her accomplices. This shows that the motif of the slit-mouthed woman possesses a power that appeals to the fundamental fears of people, regardless of country or culture. Moreover, her existence is very interesting from a folkloric perspective. Since ancient times, Japan has had female monsters like Yama-uba or Yuki-onna, who emerge from mountains or snow to bewilder people. The slit-mouthed woman can be seen as a modern evolution of these traditional monsters, appearing from the gaps between asphalt, telephone poles, and concrete walls of the city. They share the commonality of being beings that stand on the boundary. Instead of the boundary between the mountains and the village, she stands on the boundary between school and home, or between the everyday and the extraordinary. By the way, if you look closely at the newspaper articles from that time, you can see just how seriously this commotion was taken. An article from June 1979 records that in Fukushima Prefecture, there were numerous reports of a woman wandering with scissors, leading to police intervention. In another area, there were stories of young men starting night watches armed with weapons to catch the slit-mouthed woman. This proves that the rumor had the power to move beyond mere fantasy and shake the actual public order. There is a term called group hysteria, where sharing a single rumor can cause people to take actions that would be unthinkable under normal circumstances. Have you ever witnessed a moment where many people believed the same thing and fell into a panic? A moment where the excitement of the situation outweighed the truth of the information. That itself might be a scarier side of humanity than any monster. Let us approach the climax of the story. Why did the legend of the slit-mouthed woman eventually quiet down? As the summer vacation of 1979 came to an end, the intense commotion receded like the ebbing tide. One theory is that the network of children was fragmented once summer vacation began. However, she did not disappear completely. Since then, she has continued to appear before us, changing her form with each era. With the spread of the internet, new witness testimonies have been shared on forums and social media, and she has been repeatedly featured in movies and animations. The question she asks, "Am I pretty?" This is not just a simple question. It sounds like a lingering irony toward the hunger for validation from others and the obsession with appearance that we constantly hold in modern society. Behind a mask, we can hide our true intentions and play the role we want to be. But when that mask is removed, how will those around us react to the truth revealed there? Perhaps the slit-mouthed woman is an entity that gives form to the ugliness we hide within, and the emotional wounds we cannot show to others. If the doorbell of your house rang tonight, and you saw a woman in a mask standing there through the monitor, and if she quietly asked, "Am I pretty?" what would you answer? Are you prepared to chant Pomade? Or would you try to find words that sympathize with her sadness? Urban legends never disappear, even as times change. They hide right next to us, changing their shapes and names. This is because they are born from the anxiety and curiosity within our own hearts. The slit-mouthed woman is an existence that reminds us of the awe of the darkness that we have forgotten in our daily lives. That is all for tonight's story. If this story touched your heart even a little, please subscribe to the channel and give us a high rating. If there are any mysterious rumors whispered around you or scary stories you have actually experienced, please tell us in the comments. Please be very careful on the roads at night. Even if you feel a presence behind you, you must not look back immediately. Well then, let us meet again in the next haunting tale. Good night.